You just mentioned the Constitution,
yes,
and there's been a lot of talks around, reviewing the Constitution.
Yes.
Okay, so because I understand that there is, even in the Constitution, whereby maybe for a particular penalty, you'll still be paying 1,000 naira
no,
of.
that's not in the Constitution.
Okay. So that is some laws. Criminal Act. Okay, so those kind of laws that needs, for instance, someone has done something, so weighty and grievous, and then all you can do is go and pay 900 naira. In terms of. So how do we look at these laws and review them to meet up with the present reality?
Let me come in here. The state legislature has a lot of work to do in reviewing the criminal code and all the criminal laws. Lagos has reviewed its own. I think they have another one now that just came up. So most of this is asking about the penalty. In other words, I'm sentenced to 3 months imprisonment with the option of fine of 1,000 naira. I will bring out the thing from my back pocket and pay. So, but Lagos has taken care of that. Some other states where they have active legislatures, they have done that. But for the National Assembly, the ones that the federal government has the powers to make laws, they often rely on the ministries to bring in suggestions. That's why they have public hearings. They have oversight functions. But quite often, the executive will not show up for the public hearing. When he shows up, it will send one small man who will say, my minister traveled. After a lot of exchanges, the issue will die. I agree with my learned friend here. Yes, the best brains should go to the legislature, because in this country, that is the starting point for good government. The Constitution can be amended anytime. This one has been amended. Other things are also pending. There are so many bills pending before our president. He has not signed, he has not returned. Under the law, after 30 days, they're supposed to invoke their powers. But because they may not have the number, so they still wait. The last one that came out, I understand, is Petroleum Industries Governance Bill. If you remember, this bill has been pending for 16 years. But this is the first time. What they did now was to break it into 3. To say, you're afraid of this other one called the powers of the minister. When the Zen was there, they said, how can the Zen have so much powers? The powers were too much. So this time they reduced the powers. And then, of course, Mr. President said, no, as a minister, I want all my powers back.
Because he's the minister.
Because he's the minister. So the ding-dong continues, probably till the next legislative year. But the legislature must do its role. And we, the people, must make sure we elect people who are conscious of where and where they are. For instance, there is this constituency project my learned friend just mentioned. Most people don't know what it is. Not that they don't see it. No, they don't know what it is. There's not like giving the senator or the member House of Reps money. Nobody does that. What it is this. The executive will bring the budget. Of course, the judiciary will have sent this on. When it is brought to the National Assembly, every legislator, there are 469, they will bring projects dear to their people. In other words, if I'm from Warri, there is something that is bothering me. If I'm from Imo State, there is something. If I'm from Mongunu, the same thing. So we have to talk about that is called, and there is a peg. And that contract can only be awarded by the executive, never by the legislature.
Okay.
Or the member that is who is presenting.
No, he does not award. No.
Now I'm just saying that
it goes to the ministry.
I'm supporting what you are saying.
The ministry now awards and pays the contractor.
But you see that.
Okay,
but the people must investigate.
What you all are saying now is that you have put the blame on the executive.
Yes.
You have put the blame on the legislature.
Yes.
What about the judiciary?
Oh, yeah.
Your constituency.
We have already put blame.
He tried to put the blame there.
Are we lawyers? Are you looking at we lawyers?
You made a law stopping the legislature from continuing to make laws.
Of course, the lawyers have their
I am
role to
actually.
play. And you guys know that you have a role to play because
for information, we lawyers don't make law, and that's why the judiciary, the legislature comes.
We're aware of that.
We are handsmiths of the law. We work with
the
law.
laws are made and.
You bend it and...
That's the training of the lawyer. The doctor knows how to save lives. The lawyer knows how to manipulate the law. The engineer knows how to set up all.
That's why you say the law is an ass.
Quickly, you were talking about.
Okay, we work on the law.
Let's quickly go.
Or you work with.
We work with the law.
Okay. Waheed Olanikweko on Twitter is sharing something from the Nigerian Law School, and is saying that in a case in Dokubo Asari versus Federal Republic of Nigeria, 2007. He said the Chief Justice made the following: where national security is threatened or there's real likelihood of being threatened, human rights or individual rights of those responsible take second place. Human rights or individual rights, of those people involved take second place.
Of those responsible. That's the word there.
That's what I've been preaching.
No. Very wrong.
Did I say general?
No. Yes.
I didn't say general.
Now, listen
I was saying that it is those who breach the law that this affects.
That case, I don't know, it's good for people to restrict themselves to their areas of specialization. If you are not a lawyer, don't quote any part of any law report to justify what you know nothing about. That was a judgment delivered by the court in the case of Asari Dokubo, who was challenging his detention. You understand? And the Supreme Court said, look, he was relying on his fundamental right, which is part of the rule of law. And the Supreme Court has to come here and say, look, you are being alleged to have done this, to have done this, to have done this. So until you pass through your trial, whoever is responsible for those kind of conduct cannot come to court, because the law has also made provision that anybody who engages in such conduct, of course, has to be tried and has to be punished. So you cannot come to court and say, because of the rule of law, what I've said, I cannot, what I've done, I cannot, what they allege that I've done, I cannot be charged, and so on. So that statement was taken out of context.
Out of context, very true.
Very, very out of context. So they should just, because it is not even part of the relief before the court that helped me to declare that the rule of law is subject to the rule of public interest and security. It's not part of the relief. So the court did not make that pronouncement as a binding pronouncement.
Okay, quickly, yes. This is an email from Peter Adefuye. He's saying that a governor that steals has violated the rights of his citizens.
Yes.
Why should such individuals be begging or talking about the rule of law when they are to account for their deeds? So maybe you want to explain quickly.
Yes.
What
now you see, the law regulates society.
Like in a sentence. Is it possible we need to run?
Where the law regulates society until the people who exercise governmental powers, statutory powers, begins to do it in the overall interest of the welfare and security of the people.
That's where we need to anchor it this morning. Sorry, we've run completely out of time, and I'd like to thank our three legal practitioners, Godi Uwazurike, Olashupo Ojo, and Wale Ugwade. Thank you all very much. I know we didn't exhaust this at all.
We'll come again.
That's the nature of television.
Law discussion is endless.